Hello, I'm Rob from Token Gamer and the Mint One podcast, and this is our What Is series, where we take a look at blockchain games, give you an overview of the project, and tell you whether we think it should be on your hard drive or thrown into the sea. What is the Forge Arena? Forge Arena is a tactical, competitive, first-person shooter made by Gen.E Studios on the Wax blockchain. The aim of the project is to create the first esports-ready blockchain FPS in a similar vein to Counter-Strike or Valorant. As of July 2022, it is in closed beta with open beta coming any day now. If you're impatient like me and don't want to wait for the open beta, I'll show you how to get into the closed beta for less than $1. Firstly, you need to create a Wax wallet if you don't have one already. You can do this on wax.io. Secondly, you need to download the Forge Arena game client. The link is in the description. Thirdly, to play Forge Arena's closed beta, you need a skin for the game from any Wax marketplace. Here, I'm doing on Atomic Hub, and as you can see, it was just 24 cents. Next, you need to join the Forge Arena Discord server. Once in the server, verify as a human, and then you need to link your Wax wallet with the Honeycomb bot. Don't worry, this is perfectly safe, and I will put a guide for how you do this in the description. Finally, verify your wallet, and you will get the role you need in the Discord server to queue up. Once you can see the holders section of the Discord, you should see a channel called #10mansqueue, where you can click join queue, and then you just need to wait to be notified when 10 players have signed up. Once the teams have been decided, each team will be given a short password that can be used to join the game by typing it in custom match code in the game launcher. The Forge Arena developers are well aware this is a convoluted system and it is not for the long term, it's just for the closed beta. I will just add that while it's a placeholder and obviously not great for mass adoption, it does have its perks. It really does seem to build a sense of community, which is cool. Okay, now you know how to play. What's gameplay like? The gameplay is familiar to anyone who is used to the competitive FPS genre, but with interesting twists. I'll give you a few examples. Who attacks and defends each round is decided by a one-node domination round beforehand. So the rounds are constantly cycling between the domination game mode and the plant the bomb game mode. I ended up really liking this, and I couldn't think of a good reason why it wouldn't be perfectly fair. The economy I found a bit strange, as you retain weapons after you die, which led me to never really struggling for money, as you only rebuy nades and armour. Managing your team's economy is central to esports games like CSGO and Valorant, from which Forge has drawn a lot of inspiration. So my first reaction to this is Forge haven't quite got it right yet, but it's easily tweaked. Another twist that I really liked is when you buy a weapon, you can also buy weapon attachments for it, such as different sights, muzzles, grips, and magazines, and they change the way the weapon handles and performs. Anyone who follows esports FPS will know that maps are crucial. Attaining balance within a map is so difficult, and it's an underappreciated art to create these maps that end up being iconic within the esports scene. In many ways, Forge Arena gets round that by the cycling modes with domination every other round, as the domination map is a perfect mirror. That said, I've only properly played one competitive map, and while it's decent, all the calls my teammates were making, Corridor, North Heaven, CT and so on, were just lost on me. That's why the footage you're watching is going to be pretty low standard, as my map knowledge was zero. Also, due to the small closed beta pool size, it's difficult to get games. I couldn't just spam them to learn the maps. I don't think it's worth picking apart the balance of weapons and the minutiae of gameplay, as it's closed beta and a lot of these intricacies will change and change often. What I will say is the TTK, time to kill, I found unusual at times. Headshots are of course really powerful. On occasion I would instinctively stop shooting the body as I expected the player to die, who then didn't. This is very much a me problem, but still it felt a little off compared to Valorant, for instance, in which my first ever game, the weapons and time to kill just made sense. The final point I'll make on gameplay is with regards to sound, which is another really important element of esports FPS. Sometimes the sound was excellent and I could track players by their footsteps with accuracy. Other times sound felt a bit bare, and I think some of the placeholder sound effects put me off too. It's definitely not bad, but I do think it could be improved, and their roadmap says they are hiring someone third party to do this, so we're all good. Okay, so who is Gen.E Studios? It isn't particularly easy to find out about the whole team, but one of the founders and the frontman of the project is Artur Minakov, who has an interesting and relevant background. Minak has a history in esports. He's managed multiple esports teams for CSGO and Overwatch, and owned an organisation for Valorant called The Spike. Also, according to a recent interview with NFT Insider, he has over 20,000 hours of Counter-Strike 1.6. So, it's safe to say he's very well positioned to know what it takes for an FPS to be of the standard required for esports, though developing one is of course a completely different issue. What I think is most interesting about Minak is that he founded the legendary OP Skins, a skin trading website for CSGO. OP Skins was a cult hero in the CS community, but Valve threw their weight around and had it shut down. This led him to selling OP Skins and become the prompt for starting Forge Arena. In what is something of a bizarre chain of events, the buyers of OP Skins eventually turned the company into Wax, the blockchain this game is on. Minak has had some controversy in the past, particularly with the Valorant website he ran, but that has been resolved and I have seen no evidence for why it ought to concern anyone today or put any sort of black mark against Forge Arena. That said, I would love to know more about the team behind this project, including his business partner Arthur. Okay, let's look at their roadmap. If you're looking for reasons to be optimistic about Forge Arena's future, it is their roadmap. I don't usually put much weight into it, but they have already achieved many of the things on the list and I have no reason to believe they won't achieve the rest. Found in their light paper section of the Gen E website, it is a comprehensive document that is regularly updated, and it also shows what goals and tasks they have already completed. However, the real allure of the roadmap right now is its contents. More or less everything I want to see added to this game is already on the list, including a matchmaking system, account leveling, and match stats history, among other things I will discuss later. There are two standout features currently in the infrastructure and web pipeline, and they are NFT drops at the end of games and a battle pass with 300 tiers, each containing rewards. These two incentives to play, paired with play to earn, could see player attention and activity soar. Drops at the end of games and battle passes have proven tremendously successful in Web2 gaming. You pair that with play to earn and the ownership of the NFTs that drop, and I think you're onto a winner. Okay, now on to one of the most common questions with any blockchain game. What is the earning potential? The developers sometimes call the game play to earn and sometimes call it play and earn, although I believe it's leaning towards the latter in terms of long-term vision. A recent update saw Forge Arena allowing earning through their Scrap token and their in-game currency Sparks. Until the open beta launches and the game has more player activity, it's hard to know what you can truly earn from the game. But if Forge Arena can get the player base, it has the fundamentals to allow players to earn in several key ways. Firstly, there's the aforementioned Scrap token that is given to players based on kills, assists, planting the bomb, defusing the bomb, and other game objectives. It goes straight into your linked Wax wallet at the end of the game and will be tradable on the Alcor exchange. Sparks, the in-game currency, will be rewarded through battle passes, loot boxes, giveaways, tournaments, and can be purchased directly through their website. With it, you are able to buy weapon cases and NFTs, which can of course be sold on secondary markets. Sparks is on-chain, but not tradable. If maximising earning is your main focus, I suspect the best way at present would be to just spam games and trade out Scrap on Alcor whenever you can. However, personally, I'm all about collecting skins to hold on to in the hope that Forge Arena attracts a larger player base. Skins have proven incredibly popular in many games, but CSGO and Valorant sit somewhere near the top. So replicating those systems with true ownership of said skins as NFTs, well, I believe that could be the use case that onboards the mainstream gamers, even the doubters. Though it's admittedly a big ask for Forge Arena to pull that feat off. While we're on the topic of NFTs and skins in CSGO and Valorant, I want to talk about NFTs in Forge Arena a little bit more. Ordinarily, I wouldn't have a section on NFTs in a blockchain game, but with Forge Arena I want to. Given that Forge Arena was, well, forged from the OP Skins lawsuit, it's no surprise that the game takes a similar approach to skins as CSGO did, but it improves it in more or less every way. Firstly, there are weapon cases you open, which is addictive. There's no getting away from that. Each case has different odds of giving you common, uncommon, rare, epic or legendary rewards, with common being by far the most likely, often around 80% chance, and legendaries being extremely unlikely, usually around 0.2% chance. Then, alongside the rarity system, there is the float value system. If you've played CSGO, you may be familiar with what that is, but if you haven't, it can be confusing. In essence, it is another variable alongside rarity and, I guess, mint number. Float values range from 0 to 1, and this number indicates the condition of the skin, and the lower the number, the better. If your skin has a float value of 1, it is more weathered than that copy of Playboy you found in a bush when you were 12. And if it is 0, it is perfect, mint condition. I bought and opened a ton of weapon crates for research purposes. And the lowest float value I got on a skin was 0.013, which I understand is really good. And the highest I got was 0.98, which is horrendous. A low float value in CS is seen as under 0.15, though I'm unsure if that copies across to Forge Arena. If you're looking to invest in skins and perhaps flip them, and now is probably the perfect time to do so, the holy grail would be a legendary mint 1 with a low float value, although that is beyond unlikely. Interestingly, in the Forge Arena Discord, I've seen a lot of people openly preferring low float values to better rarities. Make of that what you will, hashtag not financial advice. Okay, so this brings us on to trustworthiness. As with all projects, we need to look at trustworthiness, not just whether it could be a rug pull, but if it could be a rug slip. That is, if they could accidentally tank their own game. My first port of call is always whether the creators have doxed themselves, and in this case they have both Minak and Arthur, and Minak in particular continues to be in the public eye. Now, Token Gamer has been involved in the Wax blockchain since 2018, we're an active guild and we are a block producer. So we have a good handle on the community from your everyday user all the way up to senior figures at Wax. So this gives us privileged access to how Forge Arena is seen by the Wax ecosystem from top to bottom. They have a lot of strong connections to Wax and other respected creators in the space, which is typically a good sign. Forge Arena's transparency is also good, with their roadmap regularly updated, showing what they're working on, what's planned and what's been completed. That said, I think Gen E could probably improve on their transparency, particularly when it comes to the team that's working on the project. I think for me, a lot of the question marks are probably offset by the fact that Token Gamer and Minak are both active participants in the Wax ecosystem. If the project were on a blockchain I'm less familiar with, perhaps I'd be a little bit more critical here. Okay, so my final thoughts, I will start how I always start in this series, which is what I liked and what could be improved. What I liked is the game is accurate and responsive, and it feels like an esports FPS, which is no small feat. There's a very clear route to esports for Forge, and while it's still early days, I think the foundations have been laid well. I don't think it's particularly surprising given the OP skins history, but this game has a great skin system. I like that it's play and earn. I wasn't thinking about the earning capacity and then I'd get the notification on the Token Gamer app to say I'd received scrap, and that just felt good. I of course like the fact that it's on Wax because it's a fast blockchain with no gas fees. I like that the team has history in esports and with the right esports for this game, such as CS and Valorant. The graphics are decent. It's Unreal Engine 4 and it says on their roadmap that they are going to port that over to Unreal Engine 5, which may improve matters. Performance is pretty good too. I don't have the highest spec PC, but I had everything on Ultra and never dipped below 100 FPS. I do like the slight twist with the game modes where you play domination one round and that decides who attacks and defends for bombing the next round. And I also really like the twist of weapon attachments. Okay, what could be improved? The first problem is the biggest problem, but it's my favourite problem, and that's player base. The pool of players in this closed beta was very small and I couldn't get a game whenever I want, even on the DM servers for practicing aim. I'm hoping to see an influx of players during open beta, and I honestly think the game does deserve it. In launcher matchmaking is coming, and that's great because getting into a game through Discord is very clunky. One slightly obscure improvement I want to see, but is crucial for esports, is better coverage for tournaments. That is, comprehensive spectator tools. Token Gamer was a major sponsor for Any Observations Forge Arena tournament and will sponsor more tournaments going forward. However, I'd like to see the CS Valorant style tournament coverage, and I'm not sure that's possible yet, although again, the roadmap does suggest this is something they're working on. I imagine this is fairly high on their to-do list because Forge Arena has a $1 million tournament in Q4 of this year, and they're going to want coverage of that to be as high quality as possible. This next criticism is a common one in blockchain gaming particularly, but that's that there are too many currencies. There may only be 4, but this is a common problem in gaming and it leads to unnecessary complexity of economy. I'd like to see a compelling reason why bounty and soul couldn't just be rolled into sparks and scrap. As I've mentioned, I think the sound could be improved. It's certainly not bad, but it could be better. And again, I would like to see more about the team behind the game. This is obviously not a two-man project. All in all, I think Forge Arena is a great project. It's well worth your time, and I think it's probably the front runner for esports FPS in the blockchain sector. And as I've spoken about several times, I think blockchain and NFTs will play an integral role in the growth of esports in the future. The question is whether Forge Arena can help move that boat forward, and I think it's possible. It's definitely too early to predict any industry affecting success, but I think if they hit their markers on that roadmap, 2022 is going to be a big year for Forge Arena. If the open beta brings the players it deserves, this is undoubtedly one to watch. Okay, that's episode 2 of the What Is series. What game shall I cover next? Leave your suggestions in the comments, Discord, and on our Twitter. If you liked the video, give it a like and a share, and I still suck at outros, so see ya!